morning. So I have a ton of stuff to do around my house today, and I don't have a lot of time to do it. Mostly, I just need to catch up. We are just coming off of spring break and being out of town, and I just have some tidying and some housekeeping to do and just getting back into the swing of things. So I thought I would take you along with me today as I get a few things done this morning before I pick my little one up from preschool. First things first, I need to get some bread going. So I have some meat and some hard red wheat berries here, and I'm going to make some fresh milled sourdough sandwich bread. So the thing is about sourdough is really, I think you can work it into any time of day. It really just depends on what works best for your schedule. Sometimes I start my bread in the afternoon, sometimes I start my dough before bed, but right now I really need to get this going in the morning so that way I can wrap it up by the end of the day. Now, to bring a little order back into our home, I don't necessarily think making bread is necessary, but after a break in homemaking or your routine, I do think it is really important to pick up with the things that you enjoy doing the most and that offer the biggest bang for your buck. And in my home, that is definitely making bread because we can use it for any meal. But on top of that, it's also something I enjoy doing, so it makes easing back into the routine a little bit easier. This is a combination of kamut and hard red wheat. You could also use hard white wheat if you wanted to. I will have this recipe over on my blog at moonandmagnolia.com soon, so stay tuned for that. But all I'm going to do is throw this in the bowl of my stand mixer with the remaining ingredients and then mix it up just a little bit so the ingredients combine, and then let it sit for 30-45 minutes to autolyze. That's just a fancy way of saying you are letting the dough rest for a little bit so the flour can absorb the water. It can be a little hard to get back into the rhythm of day-to-day life after taking a little bit of a break. But one of the things that really helps me is to pick a task that will help me get back into my routine, but one that is pretty much hands off. So something like feeding my sourdough starter, throwing something in the crock pot for dinner that night, just something productive that gets me back into that mindset of getting things done. Now, I've opted for a sourdough sandwich bread over, say, a rustic no-knead sourdough boule because I can make this in my stand mixer. I don't have to worry about any stretch and folds. Once it's finished mixing, which I'll show you how that's done in a few minutes, it just bulk ferments for the remainder of the day until it's time to shape it. So it's really hands-off, but it offers a lot of benefit down the road. Really combine these ingredients in the mixer, what I like to do first is use my regular old paddle attachment, and I just mix it for maybe a minute or so until all those ingredients are really combined. And what I like about this is it just does a better job combining the ingredients initially. Eventually, when we start kneading it, I will switch to the dough hook, but I found that fresh milled flour is like a little slick, and sometimes the dough hook kind of just slides right over the top of it. So for that initial mix, this definitely helps. But I'm gonna mix this up and then we'll let this sit for 30 minutes or so. You can let it sit all the way up to an hour or more if you want, but 30 minutes usually gets the job done. While that dough is autolyzing, I'm going to re-season my cast iron. So the best way to season your cast iron is to use it. Anytime you put oil or fat in it, and especially if you fry in it, that is creating a really nice natural nonstick coating on your cast iron. But every once in a while, you do need to re-season your cast iron, and mine is due for a seasoning, especially on the bottoms. I'm pretty good about keeping the cooking part of my cast iron seasoned, but sometimes like the bottom and the handle gets a little bit rusty. So we are gonna clean that up, and then I am going to put them in the oven for re-seasoning. Finding order in the home often means you have to do things that aren't super exciting and maybe aren't as aesthetically pleasing as others. Do I want to make beautiful loaves of bread that are perfectly scored? Sure. Yes, absolutely, I do. But the reality is I just need to put some elbow grease into some pans right now and make sure everything is seasoned and that we have a well-oiled machine, because all those other beautiful parts of homemaking, the fun parts and the creative parts of homemaking, they are really hard to do if you don't have the foundation laid. And that's what I'm doing with these cast iron skillets. They just need to be seasoned. The work needs to be done. Now, I am oiling these and putting them in an oven preheated to 500 degrees and then letting them bake in there for about an hour and then letting the oven come all the way back down to room temperature with the skillets in it. But when I do my day-to-day cast iron seasoning, I just oil the inside where you cook and put the food, put it on top of my gas stove, turn it on high, and then let it smoke. That's sort of my unofficial way of seasoning my cast iron, but that's a really easy way to season your cast iron day to day. But when you need to do an actual full seasoning, I would definitely recommend doing it in the oven. But anytime I'm getting back into the routine, I like to tackle something that's been waiting for me for a while. And my cast iron has needed to be reseasoned for a long time. And the reason why I think this helps is because it checks a big thing off of your to-do list. And often it's something that's been hanging over my head for a while. So I feel really accomplished. And then it feels a little easier and maybe even a little more inspiring or motivating to do smaller tasks like laundry, which we will get to in a minute. Okay, my camera stopped working, which doesn't help me get this done, but we are okay. I'm using my phone. The cast iron's in the oven. The dough has finished autolyzing, and now I'm going to switch to the dough hook and knead this until it passes the Windowpane test. I've said on YouTube a number of times that I see people all the time talk about how they can't get their fresh milled flour dough to achieve the Windowpane test. You definitely can. Sometimes it takes a little more kneading. You also have to make sure you adjust the hydration. Usually for fresh milled flour, you need a little bit more water. But the other thing is, I think you have to adjust your expectations a little bit for fresh milled flour. You are not going to get a super stretchy Windowpane test like you would, say, with bread flour or all-purpose flour. But you can definitely get the Windowpane test, and I'll show you in just a minute. Okay, this has been in the mixer for about 10 minutes. We're gonna check the Windowpane test and hopefully get this bulk fermenting so we can move on with the day. So I'm just tearing off a little piece of dough here and stretching it. And the thing about the Windowpane test is it doesn't need to stretch dramatically. You just need to be able to see light through it. So this is a little hard for me to show on camera. Oh, that's perfect. But you can see here, oh, there we go. That's a good view for you. So you can see here that that achieves the Windowpane test, and that's pretty stretchy actually, but it will tear at some point. So if I keep pulling and pulling, it's definitely gonna tear. So you don't wanna stretch it so hard. You just wanna give it a gentle stretch. If you can see light through before it tears, your dough is ready. Bringing order back into the home doesn't mean that you have to return to the order that once was. In fact, when we are restructuring our home and getting back into the groove, what we really have is a ripe opportunity to create systems and structures that serve us better moving forward. So I am working on my laundry system right now because what I was doing before was not working. I spent hours last night washing, folding, and putting away laundry. And I just want to do things a little bit differently since we are sort of in a fresh start here. When we first moved into our home 5 years ago, I loved that our laundry room was upstairs. But now that we have a kid and life is so different, we are downstairs all the time. Everyone wants to be by the living room and the kitchen, and the laundry is upstairs. So I really wish it were downstairs, but that is not possible. So as we are headed into this reordering of our routine at home, I am working on a new system where I take my laundry that is washed and dried and bring it downstairs to fold it, which is a little bit obnoxious because everything is upstairs, all of our bedrooms. But if I don't do that, it's really hard for me to get the laundry folded. So it just creates a little more structure. And even if I don't get the laundry put away when I do that, I still have it nicely folded. Just as a side note, one of the things that has really helped keep up with the kitchen towels is to keep a small hamper right next to the counter in the kitchen. I just throw everything in there, and then when it's full, I take it upstairs and wash it. And it has made keeping up the kitchen towels so easy. Okay, the towels are in the dryer, the cutting board has been seasoned, the cast iron seasoned, the dough is bulk fermenting. I think that's all we've done so far. but I'm going to take a pause for a minute and make lunch. Now, I rarely make lunch. One of the things I do to make homemade food a lot easier is I usually double up at dinner time, and then that way we have lunch for the next day or sometimes even for a couple of days. But we were out of town and it was spring break, so I don't have anything made or ready to go. And my husband has some steaks in here that he got for smoking, but he hasn't smoked them yet. So I'm actually going to cook them up in my newly seasoned cast iron skillet, and we are going to do some steak tacos with some homemade sourdough tortillas. I think for a lot of people, one of the hardest parts of the day, even when things feel really orderly, is figuring out what to eat. But it really doesn't have to be complicated. But the way around that is to make sure you have everything you need for the food that you enjoy. So if you have been out of town, make sure you put in a grocery order, run to the store, make sure you are stocked up on all the things that you like to eat and that your family enjoys. Because without it, it is really hard to figure out what to do. And it's so easy to then just rely on takeout or some sort of grab and go meal. But with a well-stocked pantry, you can throw something together really quickly. A way I like to simplify making steaks is to preheat the oven to 450, 475. And while that's preheating, I sear the steaks on the stovetop. So I sear them, I'd say like 3 to 4 minutes on each side. And if they're really thick, I might even hold them on the edges so that way the sides can sear too. And then I pop them in the oven until they're done. What I like about this is that it's a little bit faster than just cooking it on the stovetop, but more importantly, it reduces the amount of smoke. Sometimes when you have steaks on a skillet, your house can get a little bit smoky, and when you put them in the oven, that doesn't happen. So it is my favorite method for making steaks, but also I feel like it just cooks better this way. Sometimes when you're cooking steaks on the stovetop, you get a good sear on the outside, but then the middle's not done, and then the outside starts to burn, and that doesn't really happen when you switch them into the oven. So that is a little hack I have for making steaks on the stove. You can get the recipe for the sourdough tortillas that I'm making these tacos with over on my blog at moonandmagnolia.com. It's kind of a foot in mouth moment for me because I think it was just 2 short weeks ago I said that I never make homemade tortillas, but then that made me crave homemade tortillas. So I made a double batch of sourdough tortillas, and then I keep them in my freezer so we can eat them whenever we want without worrying about them going bad. And I think doing tasks like that as you are restructuring and bringing order back into your home are really helpful, because if you can just go ahead and make a bunch of tortillas or make a double batch of your favorite meal and freeze it, you have now front loaded that work for later. And so that frees up time to do other things to help you get back into the groove. I did not get through things as quickly today as I was hoping to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shape this bread dough, and then I'm going to let it cold proof in the fridge until tomorrow when I have a little more time and space to deal with it. One of the things I like so much about making sourdough is that you can start and stop the process at any time. So if you are running out of time like I am today, or things just aren't going very smoothly, you can just pop it in the fridge and deal with it later. I've even put my dough in the fridge before during the bulk ferment just to slow things down, and then pulled it out the next day to finish bulk fermenting, and it was totally fine. Once I shape the dough and put it in the fridge, it can actually stay there for up to 3 days, which makes it really flexible. I'm gonna bake it tomorrow, so it won't be in there that long, but it's nice to have that option. It's really important to remember that this is about progress, not perfection. I had a lot of things that I wanted to accomplish this day, and I don't even think I got half of them off of my to-do list because I just had a lot of curveballs in the day. But that is just life. There are always going to be curveballs. There is always going to be something that shifts us out of our rhythm, that knocks us out of order, and we have to figure out how to get back into routine, how to restructure our days so they work for us, how to move forward with the new system that works better than the one we used to use before. Something that's helped me a lot over the years is to cultivate habits and routines in my home that are forgiving and flexible. Things like making sourdough that is really forgiving, making my meals really simple so it's not some fancy technique that will ruin my whole meal if it doesn't work out. By keeping things really simple and keeping my processes really fluid and flexible, if things don't work out, it is okay. Okay, so the towels are out of the dryer. I'm just folding these. I'm gonna put them away. And I think I'm in a good spot just to wrap the morning up. It's actually not morning at all. It is now almost 2 o'clock. It is taking me a lot longer today to get things done than I had anticipated, but That's just how it goes sometimes. I mean, really, the work around a home, whether you're a homemaker or not, just the work around a house, it's never done. It is a continuous job. But if you can bite off a couple things each day and get things done, you'll be in good shape to get back to your regular routine, like hopefully I am now.